back to when I was speaking with my parents, I had shared with my dad that, from a very, very young age, I recognized mom's facial expression, where without her ever saying a word, I understood exactly what she meant with her facial expression, which was, why does George, my father, have to go out and hurt himself? Oh, here he goes again, and he's going to get himself hurt. And my dad seemed very surprised at this, that I understood this. It was as if he had never seen that look on her face. There's a lot of things my dad does not observe, and I think it's because he's experiencing his passions. This detached observance of things is something very northern, very cool. When you got heated blood, you're caught up in that heat, caught up in that passion. And, he asked me, so where do you see yourself? I said, I got it both going on, and more besides. I got all these things going on, but I got to name them, define them, put terms to them, and then test these hypotheses of definitions and terms. Test them. Maybe I need to change the name. Maybe, I take none of them too seriously, but they're all deathly serious. They're gravely serious because they're me, and I'm experiencing them. And by naming them and terming them, I can define them, learn to define them. I start somewhere, and then I can detach myself from them, and then a modicum of control or acceptance can occur, in which I go, oh, if this is what it is, then this is the way I'll treat it, and then I exercise the treatment, and it either works or it doesn't work. Throw out that definition. If it doesn't work, put in a new definition. Maybe name it something completely else. I hold fast to things very lightly. I do not grip them tightly. It's, everything seems to be sort of magically, mystically empowered enough to respect it. I remember talking to one of the elders. I said, when I present myself to the altar of the One Most High, there is a proper stance and posture, which is of awe, humility, and respect. And I do not present myself as all-knowing. I present myself as knowing what I know. And I'll go, well, this is where I'm at. And the altar of the Most High has to deal with that. And let the chips fall where they may. Another thing I recognize is that my daughter Hannah's language structure is very much like my sister's. And I just find this very interesting. I do not know how much she and one of my sisters has invested in their relationships. But I know my sister very well. My sister very well. And I think that oftentimes when we have control issues, we shut ourselves off from understanding things differently, from changing our definitions. We don't. Control means control. This is the way it is. It's always will be, always has been. But things grow and change. And as far as the growing and changing goes, because it seems to be a rather natural posture and stance that I take that comes naturally to me, control seems rather mysterious to me because I am more of a living and growing and changing kind of individual. But this living, growing, and changing seems to I've experienced so much of it, it seems to have been given me sight of a type of foresight where I can see the pattern, because, you know, the living, growing, and changing, there's always a spring, summer, fall, winter. It's life process of birth, growth, decline, death, and rebirth occur over and over, and there's a pattern there, and I don't want to be deterministic, saying this is the way it is, as if I'm trying to control it. No, I just love my children, and I don't need to control them. But that also means that I am trying to be what I want in my life, which is to not be under someone's thumb, strung along. While at the same time I understand that consistency is something that makes people feel safe. And an over concern with feeling safe and not wanting to be vulnerable can often stem from a chaotic past. Dad mentioned, we talked about chaos and order as well. And, you know, a lot of my conversations with Dad, he can have a great conversation in the moment, then the next time we talk, the conversation is, he's done so much in between that, you know, we have to go over the entire conversation all over again before it can be regained, you know. He's a great talker. He can have a great conversation in the moment. But the underlying consistency in him is more passion rooted rather than detached and observable. It's mystical. It's under the surface. Unconscious. Not consciously reiterated. I wish my daughter well. I want her to have a good wedding, and it's just painful to see that this opportunity, this great event, is cutting itself off from certain aspects so that it can feel in control and safe. And this shows me a lot of things that I cannot say will or will not be, but you know, I have well wishes for them and blessings. Have a good day.